Spinny, spinny, Sprocketeers. Welcome back to another masterclass. Thanks for being here. We love you. Welcome to those of you listening. Sprocketeer is a community for passionate HubSpot power users. We champion the HubSpot superadmin. And one of the ways we do that is with masterclasses. Today's masterclass is an Aircall Masterclass. And Aircall is not only a partner of Sprocketeer and a huge supporter. They were at Inbound. They've done awesome things, and they're really championing all the things that we as super admins are doing and trying to do. And so today we have the second masterclass. They've already done one. This is the second masterclass with Aircall because there's so much you can do with it. It's crazy powerful. With us today, we have Jake. Hey, Jake.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me on. Really happy to be here once more.
Jake did the last masterclass. He's doing this. We have more to come. Aircall is crazy powerful. There's lots of use cases. There's lots of things that we as super admins run into, and Aircall solves so many of them. And so that's why we have Jake back on, and we have a couple more planned after this. Today, though, what we're going to be talking about is inbound sales and basically the phone best practices with relation to inbound sales. Jake, I think we're going to have a good time. I think we're going to have some insights that people might not be thinking of when it comes to their phone. I know that the last masterclass, it was kind of a shift of mindset that Aircall can do so much. And I expect that as well today.
I sure hope so. Thank you so much for, we'll try our best.
That means delivery.
We're gonna bring value. We're gonna bring value. Phone is something I think that is easy to take for granted, but when you dive into it and the possibilities surrounding use cases and technology, it gets crazy deep.
Right.
Let's kick things off. Why are we talking about phone? It's because I'm with Aircall. What is Aircall? So Aircall is a cloud-based phone system available on both desktop and mobile apps. We're specifically designed for sales and support teams that are using a modern CRM or help desk, such as HubSpot. Partnerships and integrations really come first and foremost for us. And we've, picked some strategic partners, especially on the technology side, to grow alongside and model, our business after in a big way. Do you want to change slides? No more. There's not a better example of this than HubSpot. Of course, we are now or have been for forever, the number one phone and SMS integration on the HubSpot app marketplace. Over 4,500 customers in common, over 50,000 active users. They actually, to the point where they actually invested in us in February, HubSpot did. So super, super, super exciting stuff.
Congrats. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
It's really nice to see that there's crossover, that there are customers that are using such an awesome platform like HubSpot also see so much value in a tool. Oftentimes it's these kind of worlds coming together, but in this case, HubSpot realized that this is the tool to be using, so let's go deeper. That's what the investment tells me as a user.
100%. Phone's tough. Phone is really hard. There's a lot of ways for it to go wrong, and luckily for us, it's gone more right than wrong, I think. So alongside the investment, a more recent announcement is that Aircall is now a HubSpot strategic partner. They're like maybe 10 tops total, and all the rest are LinkedIn and AWS and kind of and the like there. So really, really exciting and an honor.
It's fantastic. Those of you listening, audience right now, Sprocketeers, pay attention. Jake's going to have his information at the end of the call. Basically, as the strategic partnership unfolds, that means you get a discount. Whether Aircall's new or HubSpot's new to you, you're going to get a discount. So pay attention to the end, and we'll share Jake's information with you. You can get more info on that. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you, appreciate that. But enough about us. Enough bragging. Let's get into some value. Here, we're going to kick things off with some quick tips before even diving into, Aircall and the integration and HubSpot specifically. Here are some takeaways. If you are running inbound phone sales, you have an inbound phone sales strategy, some things that you should be doing. Number one is prioritize inbound phone response. Prioritize inbound phone in general, of course, but especially from a response time and SLA standpoint, it's not like other channels. Whatever SLAs you have set for response times to email, form submissions, honestly, even chat, phone needs to be quicker, because if you miss a call, every additional ring, the chances go a little bit down. But from the jump, they're the hottest leads you'll ever get, is someone calling in and ready to book a demo or ready to buy. So prioritize there. Next, make your phone number really easy to find. I can't stress this enough. If someone comes to your website, ideally they shouldn't have to click at all. It should be on your main page if they're interested and captured by your value prop and want to speak with you guys. You should make it as easy as possible to do so. So at most, maybe one click in on a contact me page at most, but it should be really easy to find.
That makes so much. It seems so obvious, but I'm glad they should be like the top two. Like, hey, when I hit the website, I click the phone number and I can call it. And then two, when I call, answer the phone.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it ties in so much with the HubSpot inbound methodology, right? Like all the work you're putting in to get these leads. These are the hottest ones. These are the ones you were most successful at capturing. Don't let them slip by. Next tip: use phone to make your business look larger than it actually is, or maybe it is large, but if it isn't, make it, if it is, make it look even bigger. If someone's calling in, it's an opportunity to, even before you pick up the phone, to, look really professional. Kind of an analogy I heard recently is almost think of like your inbound phone tree like an org chart. It could be just you on the other end taking calls. Still, you should probably have a press 1 for sales, 2 for support, 3 for current customers, even if it's all going to the same place. Yeah. It's a really good way to just put a good face forward and show that you have resources for them.
Nice. So a good one for that would be to set up different buttons to press or people to get to the sales leader, or if you want the marketing lead or something.
Exactly. And that's from an IVR perspective. And this is obviously a personal choice. You can also have multiple phone numbers for each and have them listed out. But either way, probably have one or the other, different phone numbers that head into different teams, or have one phone number where you can route around. Either way, show that you have different teams there available for depending on use case. Nice. Next is have a backup plan. Do all you can to avoid missed calls. Really, truly, every minute that goes by, if you miss a call, it's the lead dies a little bit more, and they're already calling your competitor. So if you do all you can to avoid missed calls, by that I mean have things like team-based routing. Don't just have it, go to one person, or be a cell phone just going to you and you're in a meeting and you miss it. If you have a second employee, even if they're, in accounting, have someone there ready to take the call. Having like a shared inbox here or shared phone numbers are going to be super helpful for this as well.
Gotcha.
And then if you do miss a call, this is actually a tip I stole from HubSpot. Text first before calling back. Identify yourself, or text kind of identifying yourself as the business. Hi, I saw you called. When would be a better time? And then call. And if they pick up, great. If not, you've now just made it that much easier for them to have an excuse to not call back again.
Love that. The backup plan could be another person, and then in the case where it is, maybe you have IVRs that help route. So that's in the beginning. Like text them, yeah, and then you can follow up on that, and you can follow up with another call.
Exactly.
Heard.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thanks. It feels like you've taken us through the gambit of how to set it up prior to the call, how to make sure the call is easy, and then what to do if something goes wrong.
Exactly. And now some of this you can do without, a lot of it you can do without, extra technology or dedicated phone, but some of it, and it's certainly going to be a lot easier if you do, have a dedicated phone system. So
Heard.
I think next we can show you how to set it up and what that'll look like.
Yeah, let's get into it. I'll stop mine, and you can jump in, and
Perfect.
we'll do more on the inbound sales demo side of things. So Jake will walk us through Aircall. We'll talk through some topics we have outlined. We're going to start. We're basically going to, what you're about to hear are kind of two ways to think about inbound sales with respect to your phone system. And we're going to approach it basically from the admin manager's outlook and all of the things that if you're an admin manager listening, that you would want to know, be thinking about when it comes to your phone system. And then the second category we're going to dive into, Jake's going to show us from an agency outlook, the person who's making the calls, that rep, that agent, what it is they're thinking about and what they want set up. So whether you're a manager or you're the one picking up the phone, we're going to dive into both perspectives.
Perfect. Awesome. Excited to dive in here. So as Grant said, we're going to start on the admin side. So we have Aircall set up. What's the first thing to do? We're going to set up phone numbers. So let's dive into numbers. In Aircall, you can purchase phone numbers in over 100 countries instantly through the dashboard. If you have your own, we'll port them in for you. Either way works. But once you're in here, we're going to have two different types of numbers, right? So we're going to have an IVR and we're going to have a classic line. What does that mean? An IVR stands for interactive voice response. It means like press 1 for sales, press 2 for support. Versus a classic line, it's just going to start dialing the people or the teams that you want it to off the bat. So a few things to think about here with your inbound sales strategy. Like we mentioned, two schools of thought here. Maybe you have one major phone number on your website, and we're going to get to choose, maybe Martin's your sales guy, or we'll have entire teams here, but we'll have our options: 1 for sales, 2 for support, 3 for current customers, and really, just kind of set that up in a way that makes sense. If we need to add more options, we can do it really easily. And when I mentioned having a backup plan, a few things here. We always want this IVR to repeat itself instead of going out. And if not, we'll have it route to another option, going to a different phone number. We always want to make sure that they're headed somewhere and avoid the dreaded voicemail inbox. So
when you're setting up your phone numbers, you're getting a phone number, and you're then deciding what that phone number is going to do. Which,
exactly.
Everyone initially is like, well, it's going to call. What are you talking about? So just realizing that, okay, when they call and worst case scenario, no one's there. What do you want it to do? When someone's there, but they're on the line, what do you want it to do? All of these scenarios, but we just need the lines first, is what I'm hearing you say, Jake.
Exactly. Start from the basics. Think about what do you want that customer journey to look like when they call in, and go from there. Our other option, which is going to be either the natural choice of an IVR or the initial option, would be a classic line. So we'll dive into a random one here. And again, what do we want this to look like? So we'll pick our business hours or after hours message. We always want to make sure we have something nice and professional coming when for them to hear when they come in. Hi, thanks for calling Aircall. Hi, thanks for calling Sprocketeer. whether you do a text to speech or a custom voice option, and you have someone, maybe someone with the coolest voice, record it for you.
That's nice.
But something nice there. And from
Does
there,
all of The Rock does all of my voiceovers.
oh, nice. We have. I just had a partner reach out, or someone reach out and offer those services to our clients to have really cool voiceovers. So if you need a guy, I can set you up. But from here, we're gonna have choose who it rings to. Like we said, we have a backup. You always want a backup plan, and on this line, we clearly have plenty. First, it's set to ring to our UK sales team. But even diving deeper, how long do you want it to ring to that team for? And also, how do you want it to ring to that team? We have a few options here. Longest idle, which is basically who's ever being laziest and not picking up calls. We'll get the next one. We have randomly, which is our version of a round robin. And then simultaneously. Simultaneously is my favorite and is going to lend itself to the highest SLAs. Everyone's going to get the call at once. Whoever picks up first is going to get it. It's what we recommend. But up to you guys. From there, it's set to ring to Beatrice, and then a few others. But like I said, have a backup plan, whatever it is. Different team, whether it's teams, individuals, have backup users, and just make sure that they're going to be really well equipped to make sure those calls are answered.
Mm-hmm. And so the last thing I see down there, the last thing is voicemail.
Exactly. Exactly.
Add as many. Those of you listening and watching, maybe just listening, not watching, there are many points in between the tree at the top and the voicemail at the bottom. And what I'm hearing Jake say is just put options in between those two so that they get to someone. So when someone calls, they hear from you.
Exactly. And HubSpot's famous for this in terms of, I know when you call in, especially on like the customer support side, for answering quick, and also just answering in general. It's something that they've done really well, and something that we want to enable other folks to do really well, because it's crucial. So,
all right.
awesome.
So we have our lines. We have a traditional one and maybe IVRs.
Exactly. Yep. So now we have our lines. Dive super quickly here into monitoring. We're going to give you some pretty good stats and analytics. This can all be embedded in HubSpot as well. But we're going to want to make sure that our calls are being answered on time. We can check here from a historical standpoint. Something that I love here is that we're going to show you why you're missing calls just off the bat. And get you some really good insights. So we're going to find out what percentage here of missed calls are missed for what reason. So for example, we see here 23.9% of calls went to voicemail because no user was available. Maybe you need more users on that line.
Right.
Or maybe, it's during that exact time, you're going to need to staff more people, or during that time of day, need to consider doing that. Just some good insights there.
This is great for the manager since we're on the admin manager side. Again, like Jake just showed us, all of those steps will be reported on. And so now we have a point where either the call was accepted at this point. I think I'm seeing on the reporting side.
Yeah.
So staging you have, here. So I'll see that this is where everyone picked up, where we actually spoke to them, or this is where they fell off as well.
Exactly, yeah. And that, and then just monitoring your SLAs. Like you mentioned, those need to be on point. And we're going to give you the ability to do so. We can go way deeper than this too, but that's, boring. We don't need to do that right now.
Well, it's good. For those managers out there, if you're listening right now and you're in a portal and you're either a user, a super admin, and you're part of the user team speaking within your company, or you're cross portals at an agency, this is something that you're going to be talking about when you're setting up and talking with the manager, that those stages not only are going to speak to who's calling in, it'll also give us on the back end this reporting and ability to manipulate it as time goes on and we hone that experience.
Exactly. You nailed it. Once we decide what we want that experience to look like, we need to have a way to make sure that the experience is looking Like it. So now that we've nailed down analytics from a more historical standpoint, we also want to make sure that we can monitor them live, right? Especially if you have, a larger growing inbound sales or SDR team.
Right.
You want to make sure that you know what they're doing in real time. What else is your SDR manager going to do all day, right? So you got to have the tools. So here's our live activity feed. Here we're going to be able to monitor our SLA in real time. 88 could be better. See any calls we have waiting, number of missed calls in the last 30 minutes, current longest waiting time, average waiting time, agents in queue. Just a really good snapshot. We can also, of course, filter by phone number, team, user, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then down here, we're going to have two things. One, as calls are being completed, be able to listen to those, get an idea of what's happening. And we have live call coaching. I always say this is SDR's manager's dream, SDR's nightmare. But Kevin here is on a call. This is actually our production account, so he's really talking with Ollie there. And if I were to click this coach button, I'd be able to listen in either from an incognito mode and not let him know that I'm joining, or I could let Kevin know that I'm joining. We do have a whisper function, so you can, especially as the time of the day and age of the remote SDR grows and grows, making sure best practices are being followed, accountability, keep honest people honest, and just help them out. Being able to.
That's fantastic. For one, that you can jump in incognito or not. For those listening, a whisper mode means what?
A whisper mode means that I could talk to Kevin without Ollie on the other end hearing.
Awesome. You can talk to the person that you work with, tell them stuff, but the person they're on with doesn't hear you.
Exactly. So really cool stuff. And if things get really bad, the thing you might be whispering is, hey, add me to this call right now.
Right. Yeah, intro me. I'm gonna jump on. That's a great way. I always talk about it in the coaching and the helpful, like, how's this going kind of way. That's a great point though, is like, hey, if it's really going south, have them intro you and then jump on.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Sweet. Last thing.
What else is here?
Yeah. So last thing on this admin dashboard that I'm going to call out, other than the lovely HubSpot integration settings, is going to be our tags. You're going to hear a lot of different names for tags from different folks. Some people call them, dispositions, tags. There are other ones. I'm forget outcomes. There we go. But these are really great, and I think one of the most powerful features of Aircall, especially within our HubSpot integration. Mm-hmm. These are all customizable from the admin side. You can make as many as you want. As you can see, we have way too many.
Wow.
I don't recommend this. What I do recommend is, while you're thinking about, after you're done thinking about what that caller journey is, think about kind of the reporting and automation that you want to standardize. A few things there. I mean, like, one from the reporting side, what are the types of call outcomes that you're going to be tracking? What are your, the results of a call? Meetings booked, not interested, move on to the next step. Bad fit. Really, it's obviously going to depend on the business, but whatever you want, whatever type of reporting, first of all, that you want to standardize, create a tag for it here. I'll show you in a bit, but it's going to flow over into HubSpot in the notes and as a custom property. So easy for setting up reporting on it.
Love that.
HubSpot, which is great. And then on the other side, you have the workflows and the automation related to it. So maybe you're sending customer satisfaction surveys after every call. No one wants to do that manually every time. So you create a tag, that's your workflow trigger, have it send that survey. And it's a lot of time saved there. Maybe alternatively, you want to be able to move a sequence along to the next step, or put a prospect in a hot list that, someone is interested but not ready to buy. a lot of good stuff there that we can do just kind of offhandedly while you're in the call and have it all get updated on the back end through HubSpot's magic.
Okay, Jake. So to clarify, those administrators, the managers setting up their system or updating it, when they're using tags, are there multiple tags can be added to the call, or
Great,
is it
great
only
question.
one?
Great question. As many tags as you want. They'll all flow in as separated for separate triggers there. They'll re-enroll. The property will re-enroll every time, so every call, so you can add the same contact to multiple workflows, or
Sure.
have reporting on multiple calls to the same contact. So
So if you want a feedback survey, you want the follow up documentation. If you want to make sure the call outcome is now ready for a signed document, all of the things that are happening on the call, you're able to use tags as a trigger that you're either adding in HubSpot or that you're manually sharing as a task of someone to do. That's great to be able to have multiple tags for representing what's truly happening on the call.
exactly. No, it really saves you the hassle of having to pick one or the other, like you do with HubSpot native call outcomes, and also creating custom ones there. I know they're also not the always the easiest for reporting and triggering workflows as
Sure,
well.
sure.
So that's where this is really gonna come in handy. I'm sorry.
So from the admin manager side, we have the phone numbers, the IVRs, and any routing you set up between receiving a call and hitting that voicemail, making sure there's lots. We have the reporting you showed us, and now we have the tags. So on the back end, you're either shifting or it's going in, it's being moved in the way you want based on what happened in the call.
Exactly.
Anything else from the admin manager side?
Yeah. One last thing is going to be mandatory tagging. So diving one level deeper, which is this is like one of my favorite things, because so often I know as a HubSpot admin, you spend all this time building out workflows and reporting around specific outcomes that are dependent on your sales reps and your agents actually following up and entering in the right inputs. With Aircall, you can make tags mandatory, so they have to leave one before moving on to the next call. So they have to admire the beautiful work that you've done.
What, Jake? Are you saying salespeople don't do every step of every process? What are you talking
I
about?
would never say that, but
All right, those of you salespeople, we all know we're human. One, we forget. Two, we're making hundreds, maybe hundreds of calls a day. Depends on your role. Nevertheless, what an awesome thing to have a mandatory uh, stop gate to make sure that things happen. From me, when Jake was telling me, it was like less a you're following the rules. It's more like a helpful tool that, hey, I need to do this when I'm done.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, so now we have all that set up. One last note, and this is kind of in between the admin and the agent, is having your HubSpot integration set up. You got to have your phone system integrated to your CRM. Not doing it in 2022 is bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, the HubSpot Aircall integration takes 5 clicks to set up. And once you do, you can set up multiples. You can have different settings for different teams. For example, on an inbound sales line, you're probably headed down here, going to want to be creating new contacts in every call that comes in. And you're probably also going to want to be recording activity outside of business hours, as well as matching it to your inbound sales folks. Maybe on different lines, we want different settings. We want to maybe create tickets on different lines, or not have a new contact get created for every call that happens on a non-inbound sales line. And we make it really easy to pick and choose. So
Awesome. All right, managers, you are set up.
all good. Okay, let's talk about agents. Let's talk about people on the phones. Let's dive into this phone app here. So this is the phone app. This is what, as an agent, day to day, you'll be working out of. a few things to kick us off with is, I think earlier I had mentioned shared phone lines, and also now that we've set up as a admin a phone line with different routing, we have different people on it. We want to make sure that every person that's a step in an inbound sales line is going to be able to monitor those calls. So if we do miss them or someone texts in, we're able to really effectively work together as a team to get those problems solved and get them solved quickly. So me as a user, I'm personally associated with 4 lines here, and with all of those lines, oops, sorry. Nothing. Okay, cool. With all those lines, I can see all of the call history on them because I'm associated to them, and that's nice off the bat. Also, with all of those lines, I'm going to have a shared inbound. I'm going to have shared texts with all those. So if one person on one of those lines that I'm associated to gets a text on that sales line,
Right.
I'll, and I'm also associated to, I'll get that. When I respond, that notification will go away for everyone else that's associated to that line. So I have my very one-sided conversation here with Jimmy, but I will send an SMS so we can show you how it logs in a moment. But that's the main piece I'm trying to drive home is having multiple people being able to jump in when needed. Diving into that even a little further is we're going to have a few things here in our to-do section. So this is really kind of like, think of it as a shared to-do inbox. So this is where missed calls on any line that I'm associated to, as well as calls that are assigned to me, are going to live. So on that sales line, if you miss a call,
Nice.
for example, Grant called here. Maybe I am on another call. Maybe I'm not manning the phones right now, and someone else in my team should be. I see Grant called here. Probably there's a voicemail. I'd be able to listen to that. I'll
Take
be able
notes
to
on it.
exactly requested more info. Add a tag, because why not? Follow up, do it, and then I'll go ahead and assign it to one of my teammates here, maybe Bianca, for example. And now she'll get that assigned call. She'll know how to follow up on it and be able to do so really effectively.
Love that.
Um,
Fantastic.
love it.
I guess in the point of having a shared inbox is also that you have your portion of the inbox. There's the you stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. It can be it just depends on how you have it set up. Some companies are going
Right.
to want to have more direct lines, and some are going to want more shared lines. But really enabling you to do both, I think, is a super important piece here.
Love it.
That's enough
Okay.
of pre-call stuff. Let's show you how an inbound call is going to come in and what
Yeah.
happens when it does. So giving myself a call from my cell phone here. The example we have here is an existing customer that we've spoken to before. So instantly, as Jimmy calls in, I'm going to see which of my phone numbers that I'm associated with he's calling in on, as well as my caller insights. So instantly, I'll have access to his contact in HubSpot. I'm going to go ahead and pick up before it hangs up on me. And then any deals that he's associated to as well. So before even diving in to the call, I already know who I'm talking to, what deals we're working on. This is an existing client. There's no, hi, who is this? How can I help? It's, hi, Jimmy. I see you recently called in about XYZ. Is this what you wanted to talk about today? Just such a better experience for everyone around. Really makes you guys look like pros, makes them feel valued. Such a small thing it goes such a long way, truly. So
Fantastic. And these are all of the deals that they're associated with, the contact for. There's different levels of association, but regardless, like you said, you can see this stuff ahead of time.
yeah, and that's everything. Now let's say if we didn't have an existing contact, this is net new. we'll have if you have the settings on to do so, it'll automatically create a new contact for you. No need to scramble
Right.
around and try to enter in info. We have all of that. That contact's already being created. That call's logged to it with the recording, with all the notes you're taking, and you have all that info there off the bat, saving at least 2 minutes per call of wrap up time and admin work.
Received. Yeah. Just make the contact. Is there any suggestion you have, Jake, about having information like that? So it's a net new call, getting maybe like a region where that's coming from, or a company, or associated emails. Are there any suggestions or recommendations you have?
Sorry, one more time.
This is off the cuff. So if you're
Yeah.
listening right now, Jake didn't prepare this and I didn't ask him to. If I'm getting a net new call and I want more information, do you guys have a recommendation for how to get more information about this caller? Is that not a thing yet?
Yeah, it's if we just have the phone. So if we just have if we just have the phone number, we just have the phone number, unfortunately. So, well, I mean, we'll tell you, in terms of the area code and zip code that it's
right.
But phone numbers change hands every day. So unfortunately, we can't go much deeper than that without talking to them.
Yeah, and Jake, I don't know that Aircall or anyone really should or has yet. I was kind of asking about industry trends, right? Like I see that for email and how people have figured out that the domain is helpful. But like for phones, like you said, they change all the time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Our ethos and motto is know who you're talking to and personalization, but there might be levels too far, right? So,
All right.
But if you want to build like a Zoom info integration or something that's cross-referencing, hit us up and we're down. So
Yeah, reach out to Jake if you want to build that. That'd be awesome. So make a new contact if it's net new.
Exactly. Now we're in the call. A few things to point out here is we'll have in call, we'll have our notes, and we'll have our tags, like we mentioned before, the almighty tags. Pick 2 random ones here. And then we'll have our assign for post call. And then down here, we'll have our collaboration. Now for inbound sales, this is going to be so key. Is this collaboration? Because who's calling on an inbound sales line? Literally everyone. It's going to be current customers who know that's a faster way to get your attention. For support, it's going to be prospects. It's going to be people that are ready to buy and want to go to an AE, all sorts of folks. So being able to transfer easily and effectively is going to be key here. With our transferring, you can scroll, see who's available. Individuals here, she's actually an inbound SDR, so that's perfect. We could go warm transfer, cold transfer, if you need to give them prior context. We can also, and this is pretty cool, kick it off to an entire team. Let's say they call into the SDRs, but really they should be going into support. I'll be able to, we of course have a ton of teams here, but I could transfer to English Global Support and kick it off to that entire team too. It'll ring them all at once and make sure they get well taken care of.
Fantastic.
Same thing here on call conferencing. Add them to the call, internal numbers, external numbers, call them separately, all of that.
So I have the context ahead of the call. In the call, I have all the tools I need in the pop out. What I feel taken care of from before and during. You've already shown us notes and the tags. Now what do we do?
Yeah. Now we can hang up here and kind of let the magic happen. This will take like 30 seconds or so to sync over. In the meantime,
Well, I have to copy paste all that from Aircall to HubSpot, right?
Of course not. Come on,
I've
get
entered
out of
into
here.
a spreadsheet, Jake. I need to. Let me
Exactly.
open up.
We have to. We'll paste it into our spreadsheet and then into Salesforce and then back into HubSpot.
Yeah.
And
let me open up my Trello board and I'll paste it into the card and move it.
Exactly. No,
guys.
who needs that? So all notes that we take on the call, they're going to sync over on this call log. The tags, as I mentioned, are also going to sync over here in the notes. along with inbound versus outbound, the name of the user, or sorry, the name of the phone number and the name of the user. They happen to be the same in this case, which is kind of confusing, but it's all me.
Yep, yep.
And then we'll have our recording here as well. We store on as a link so we can be HIPAA, GDPR, SOC 2, and PCI compliant.
Whoa,
Which is
what? Blah. You got to say that again. One, it's good. Two, that was too fast. You're what?
So when it comes to phone and compliance, it's all based around almost entirely based around call recordings. So that's why logging as a link on our AWS servers or your private servers, whatever you prefer, allows us to be HIPAA, GDPR, SOC 2, and PCI compliant.
Well done. Well done.
So that's a nice one.
That's huge because then it's
Yeah,
just done. Now it's
exactly.
not, oh, I have to, it's just done.
Exactly. And it's still in HubSpot, which if we
Understood.
were to log as an MP3, which you see sometimes in the industry, you lose all four of those compliance standards. And
Understood.
can't have that.
Thanks for doing that.
Of course. Of course. We do have automation around the HubSpot native call outcome fields. But as I mentioned, the tags, they're going to log here and also as a custom property. Sorry, here we go. Last use Aircall tags. When if I were to refresh just because it re-enrolls, we'd see these populate, be able to report on it, use them as triggers, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so let's put a point on that, Jake, that yes, we added tags and we added it in the call and that synced over to HubSpot. That then is a call outcome that we can be using for triggers and pipeline movement as well.
Exactly. You nailed it. That's and the re-enrollment means again, yeah, multiple workflows for the same contact.
All right, so if you're listening right now and you're thinking, I want to try Aircall, but I already have all these workflows set up based on my call outcomes of what I have set up. What I'm hearing, Jake, is install Aircall, and those call outcomes will continue to be triggering everything you already have set up.
Yeah.
Genius. Genius.
Exactly.
All right, what else from the agent side?
From the agent side, that's going to be most of what they care about. I should note as well that these calls, as well as the SMSs, especially the calls, are going to be logging onto the contact record, company record, tickets if you're using them, deal record. We'll have that transparency across the board, and that information flowing everywhere it should be.
Love it. Having the integration set up from your manager allows all of that stuff to be set up in HubSpot automatically.
Exactly. Save 2 minutes per call and just really, really make their life easy so they can get back on the phones, answer more calls, and stop missing calls.
You know, as I do more with this automation stuff, all this techie automation technology, it's really fun that it helps us get that tech out of the way so that we can talk to a person and they can talk to us.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. That's, I think there's a level and a want and a trend towards making sure your customers or prospects can go through as much tech and automation without speaking to a person as possible. But once they're actually ready, like the moment they're actually ready to have a conversation about doing some business, we want to make sure that they're talking to someone from our end as soon as possible.
It's so agreed. It's so funny to say because it's just, well, yeah. And you're like, well, that takes a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
HubSpot and Aircall makes it easier. You could take more clicks. You could do more integrations, but you don't need to. This is the one you need.
Couldn't agree more.
With that in mind, just want to recap real quick. Jake gave us some quick tips. For those of you listening or just listening in, his quick tips really are summarizing how to set up prior to anyone ever calling in the first place, that call experience. what should be happening once they do call, making sure there's steps in place so that if you can't answer, someone can or something can. And then afterwards, if you do mess up and some reason there's a missed call, that there's some follow-up, like a text message first, so that they do receive something from you. So thanks for those, Jake.
Of course. Of course.
The thank you for being on with us. Thank you for spending your time with us. Thank you for showing us the demo and walking us through inbound from both the manager and the agent side. It's super helpful to see that they're linked, but just to distinguish the tasks, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's all, it's all about setting your agents up for success, right? And just really enabling them to be able to speak to people, as many people as possible, as quickly as possible when they're ready to talk, and then spending as little amount of time on admin work as possible, and then making sure that they're really following the steps that you've laid out for them, either as a manager or as a HubSpot admin, for reporting, for workflows, and making sure that what you want to track is being tracked effectively.
Right. Right. All right, Sprocketeers, spinny. The call out we want you to have received was Jake is open and available due to their new partnership with HubSpot. If you're going to start to use Aircall for the first time, you're going to get a discount. If you're an Aircall customer listening right now and you want to start using HubSpot for their integration, you'll get a discount. Reach out to Jake and he'll talk to you more about it. What else 100%. Do you need to say?
I think you nailed it. Hit me up. Phone, email, text, Slack, LinkedIn, whatever works. If you don't know if you're a good fit, or if you have a client that might be a good fit and you don't know, I will tell you. I'll be so honest. So I don't want to, I'll make sure they're a good fit. So that's just talk to me and I'll let you know.
So it's jake.dagan@aircall.io, jake.dagan @aircall.io. He's got his phone number listed as well.
I do. That's dangerous, but how could I do an inbound calls or inbound phone presentation, inbound phone sales presentation, and not list a phone number? So,
he's got it listed. Call. It's 929-801-2044. Making sure the transcript picks it up.
And thanks to Aircall, I can change it in 30 seconds. So it's already gone.
Thanks again so much, Jake, for being a partner with Sprocketeer, for showing up to the masterclass and giving us all the awesome tools through Aircall.
Thank you so much, Grant. Pleasure.
All right, everyone, spinny.